There we go. Okay, so we're gonna start off today's stream by doing is we're gonna start it off with that Hasan Piker Larry Elder debate because I want to get that done. So apparently, last Friday's Hippy Dippy was great. I thought it was good too. Can you please put a volume limiter on CTV? I actually might do that going forward. I've heavily considered it. Anyway, let's watch this. Hasan Piker apparently debated Larry Elder 2 years ago, over 2 years ago now, and we all missed it. And considering the fact that Larry Elder might be the next governor of California if the recall happens, vote no on the recall, and Hasan Piker's in the news for his house, there'll never be another opportunity in history that this specific debate is going to be relevant again. So, I wanted to watch it.
Welcome back. Two very intelligent fellows with two wildly differing worldviews make up this week's panel. Larry Elder is a one-man hat trick. He's a syndicated radio host, including on...
I still can't believe that this guy has a legitimate shot of becoming governor of California. And it's not even through getting a majority of the vote. It's just through a bungled Gavin Newsom campaign strategy of if he's no longer governor and the recall is successful, just don't fill in the other option. And so all the conservatives are just surrounding to get around Larry Elder. So all they need is like 20% of the vote. And boom, he's governor if the recall is successful. My God.
Fun fact, way back in 1996, Larry and fellow conservative Dennis Prager appeared in a short film directed by, of all people, South Park creator Trey Parker.
That sounds terrible. Unless Trey Parker the whole time was just fucking with him like his Eric Andre.
Called For Goodness Sake, which humorously addressed race in America. Look at those outfits.
Look at that tie and that mustache.
Yeah,
My
baby.
goodness.
Hasan Piker is the youngest of the Young Turks on the Young Turks Network. Piker's online commentaries have been seen and shared by millions, making him one of the most followed progressives in all of social media. Recently, on the podcast Chapo Trap House, Hasan talked about his experiences on the live streaming website Twitch. He's widely followed there as well.
Look at the corner. Hasanabi. Thank you so much for the bits.
TYT?
Do you know TYT? I've heard of that small time podcast. Unironically, with Anna followed me on Twitter. I was giddy like a schoolgirl. But you look at the bottom right hand corner, Hasanabi, provocative gamer. That's one way to title him, I guess.
Welcome to you both. Good to have you on The Issue Is.
Thank you for having us.
All right, let's start with the big news of the week, which is President Trump's comments about foreign interference. This is what he said.
Do you want that kind of interference in our elections?
It's not an interference. They have information. I think I'd take it.
What do you think? I mean, was this wrong, what the president said?
It's not the answer I would have given, and there hasn't been a single Republican that has backed that answer. And I was watching Fox and Friends this morning.
That's okay, but listen to that though. Is it wrong? Well, it's not the answer I would have given. Just say yes. Dude, it's such an easy answer. If someone said to me, for example, here's a recent mistake Biden made. So do you believe that Biden saying that in response to the Afghans falling from planes, that was 4 or 5 days ago, do you believe that was an appropriate response? No, it was disgusting. Next question. That's all you need to do. Click, damn, done. Not the answer I would have given. So diplomatic.
He already walked it back, and he said, no, I would go to the FBI. It was an ill-advised thing to have said. The bottom line, though, is there's been a 2-year study to find out whether or not he committed any kind of collusion, and he didn't.
But isn't he
What about all the indictments, man?
basically advertising, even if I didn't collude before, I'm open to collusion now?
I don't think he is. It was an imprecise answer to an imprecise question.
Beautiful.
I'm sure he's thought about it again, and he'd give a different answer now.
What was imprecise about it, Hasan?
I can't wait 2 years later down the line in the aftermath of the election when we find out that there was foreign interference or something like that. Republicans will turn around and point to this moment in time and go, well, he was just joking, which is what they did with the previous instances of Trump's misspeaking.
Well, he was joking. Oh God! Look at Larry. He's got the Biden sit down with his hands together, looking down. He's about to fall asleep. He was joking. I know what you're talking about. But the thing is, we do know that Russia did interfere in our election. Now, if you want to push back about specifically the idea of collusion in Trump, then you have to get into Ukraine, then you go further down. But it is undebatable, the idea that Russia did interfere in our elections. The Internet Research Agency was active. in the 2016 election and the 2020 election, the Russian Internet Research Agency. We know that they purposely spread misinformation to not only influence the outcome of the election and a result that they thought would benefit them in 2016 for Donald Trump, but also, and they continue to do this, to increase tensions within the United States, to increase discontent, to heighten divisions within America domestically. That is their national security objective. That is what they're currently trying to do, and that is what they have tried to do. This is not just me saying this. This is Trump's own security staff. This is unclassified reports from the CIA and FBI. I think it was CIA or FBI. I forget which one. This is a done deal. You have to get into the real debatable stuff if you want to even have a debate, is getting into Ukraine and the comments of, hey, Mr. President of Ukraine, let's see if you can scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. The quid pro quo. That is where you can go to actually have a debate. But this is undebatable.
Look, I'm not a big Russiagate hysteric, but it is without a doubt.
By the way, just look at this in chat. And this is every single time I bring this up. I didn't say anything besides the fact that it is a fact that they interfered in our elections to spread disinformation. And you got the individuals in chat, and this always happens. And I'm fine with disagreement in chat. But you always have somebody come out and be like, oh, well, all they did was buy Facebook ads. All they did was buy this ad or push this lie. That is a legitimate problem. The best example of this would recently be ivermectin. We have tons of Americans across this country legitimately injecting horse medicine into themselves and destroying their body in order to, because of stuff, Facebook memes that they saw on Facebook, or stuff they saw on YouTube, or stuff they saw even on this platform, Twitch. We have people believing lies that were perpetuated on these platforms that does affect the results, the outcome of the election. Now, I would just ask people, would you hold the same standard if China, in order to, even though this didn't happen, support Joe Biden, just released like random information that like Donald Trump molested 20 children, or Donald Trump did this, or Donald Trump assassinated this king or this president, and just spread this information, and people started listening to that and be like, damn, actually, I heard Donald Trump molested 20 children. I mean, that's crazy. That's terrible. I can't vote for Trump. I got to vote for Biden now because I won't vote for child molesters. That'd be awful. And I don't think that same standard would be held if somebody brought that up to a conservative. My thing is, at the end of the day, that I believe that Americans should be getting factual information about elections and factual information about politicians. And other countries trying to interfere in that process by spreading disinformation is bad. Trying to divert from that point just makes you look silly and makes it look like you will accept help from any force around the world to benefit your own political side.
That Donald Trump is a corrupt person. He is morally reprehensible. He demonstrates his corruption in wildly transparent ways, and the American people seem to just laugh it up and take it in. So I don't know. It doesn't matter. He can say whatever he wants. He literally said that he could kill someone on Fifth Avenue, shoot them, and the American people would still vote for him, and he was right.
He was joking. And look, this is imprecise.
He might have been joking, but it was rooted in truth. It was rooted in truth. He said to the American people, hey, we should bomb the families of terrorists, bomb civilians. Hey, everybody, I want a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States. Then he goes to Rudy Giuliani. How do we do a legal Muslim ban? Rudy Giuliani admits that's what he was trying to do on Fox and Friends. He says that. He's still elected. He chooses a vice president who was famous for pushing conversion therapy, the torture of homosexuals on the campaign page up to 2015. He won. He was right. He was right.
Speaker. He really is. Obama was a very precise speaker.
When the looting starts, the shooting starts. I mean, come on.
His three major decisions, in my opinion, were all based upon falsehoods. The Obamacare decision, if you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor. My mother, as she lay dying on her hospital bed in Hawaii, was suffering from having to fight with her insurance carriers. Turned out it wasn't true. The Iran deal was based upon a big lie that there was a fight between moderate ayatollahs and hardliner ayatollahs, and the architect of that deal, Ben Rhodes, literally bragged to the New York Times that I lied about this. And the other one was when he pulled the troops out of Iraq, and then later on...
Okay, by the way, this guy is he's just shooting out disinformation. The Iran deal saying he was built upon a lie. Now, which lie? The lie that there was moderates in Iran. Now the question is, how moderate is a moderate in Iran's political system is the question that you should be asking. But the Iran deal was created because we wanted to stop Iran from capturing a nuclear weapon. That's what we wanted to do. That was the purpose of the Iran deal. That's what it was built upon. You can talk about the conversation of what is a moderate politician or what isn't a moderate politician and how the domestic political scene in Iran is shifting. But there were just elections in Iran where hardliners, more hardliners, won elections. And if the fact is that you're saying that now hardliners, and people, and Larry Elder said this too, that now look at all these hardliners winning elections. So are you admitting that the people before weren't hardliners or they were hardliners? This is a tangential point. The reason we did the Iran deal was because we wanted to stop Iran from getting a nuclear weapon, and the nuclear agreement we made with them, the Iran deal, the JCPOA, guaranteed that.
Blame it on George W. Bush. Not true. He pulled him out because he wanted to, against the advice of his entire national security team. Now, why aren't people talking about those kinds of things?
Well, because Barack Obama's not the president, because Donald Trump is currently the president. And the fact that you have to reach so far behind and talk about the lies that President Barack Obama told in the White House to justify the lies that Donald Trump is telling currently is kind of shocking to me.
Well,
I mean,
Hassan,
when Barack Obama fails...
I'm happy to explain why I refer to Obama.
Can I finish? When Barack Obama fails on the policy front when it comes to the ACA, which did not go far enough, I agree with you.
Didn't go far enough?
I absolutely criticize Barack Obama for that. I think we do need socialized medicine, Medicare for all. Perhaps could have been more helpful for your mother, and I'm sorry for your loss.
That's a whole nother debate. But let's go to the point that Hasan brought up. He said that the...
Oh my God, did he really go there? Hasan. Maybe my system would have been better for your mother. Sorry for your loss. I mean, he's not wrong, but dude, the optics on that one, Jesus Christ.
President is morally corrupt.
Right.
How do you respond to that?
Maybe your mom wouldn't be dead if you accepted my ideology. Oof.
And then I have to go back to Barack Obama to justify what Donald Trump says. He says it's shocking. What I find shocking is the pass that people like my friend gives people like Obama. The reason I bring up these inconsistencies, the reason I bring up Hillary, for example, in the basement server, she got a pass for that, is to show the double standard, the selective outrage, and the hypocrisy on the part of people that are really angry about Donald Trump that gave Obama a pass for 8 years, fast and furious. He got a pass. He got a pass for the Bergdahl deal. Got a pass. He got a pass on Obamacare.
Okay, so what Larry Elder's doing here, and I think it's obvious for everybody watching, is Larry Elder does not want to deal with the fact that Donald Trump pretty openly said, like, hey, if you got information on my political opponents, give it to me. And then when you combine that with the information that came out about quid pro quo and Ukraine, everything that doesn't look too good. And the fact now we most certainly know that Russia did interfere in our elections. Just the Internet Research Agency alone. He wants to divert from all of that and say, but what about Obama? But what about Obama? But what about Obama? But what about Obama? That's what he wants to do. And he's touching everything in the world here. The Iran deal, the Bergendahl, just going from point to point to point to point to point. None of this has to do with what Trump said whatsoever. So instead, he's going to just build up this magical lefty that doesn't exist. It's not in the room here. It's not to his right. We all know Hasan's extremely critical for Barack Obama. And I don't know if he's to his left, but that's the presenter. It's not the person he's supposed to be arguing with or having a conversation with to attack. He doesn't want to address the point here, so he's trying to divert to wherever he can. He's being a politician, which, I mean, if he wants to be the next governor of California, good job, I guess.
Got a pass for all the misstatements, all the lies he made, but Donald Trump is a big liar. He's evil. It's double standard. It's hypocrisy.
Wait, why do you always point to the double standard when I already admitted that when Barack Obama does something wrong, I openly talk about it? Can you just elaborate on your personal opinion in this instance?
Sure.
rather than trying to
I'm
engage in whataboutisms and pointing out double standards? Because don't you think that that's a little disingenuous to go back to double standards when we're talking about Donald Trump, who's the president right now, and you have to draw from so far back, like Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama? These people are not in positions of power.
We're not drawing back to the.
It's not okay. Two wrongs don't make a right, right?
We're not drawing back to the 17th century. We're drawing back to just a few years ago.
Okay.
And I'll just give you.
I will say the thing is, Larry Elder is putting Hasan in a difficult position. What Hasan's doing here is probably the smartest thing he can do, because Larry Elder is like filibustering. She's pumping out so many points that you can't respond to any of it. Like, if I was in Hasan's position, it'd be hard for me to know if, like, okay, should I just hit him on the Iran deal and just go hard on that, or should I just say, hey, you're just pivoting? I guess Hasan's doing the best thing he can do here. We're just saying, hey, dude, you got to stop pivoting, stay on topic. But what Larry is doing, he's pumping out so much information that the amount of time it would take Hasan to respond to every single point would be so long that he's never going to be able to do it. And you know, it's all debate tactics.
I'll give you one example. Fast and Furious.
But to his
Larry Elder's not even finished. He's still doing it. Fast and Furious. He's still going. He's still not responding to what Trump did, because Larry Elder knows that the longer that this panel concentrates on what Trump did and how Trump messed up, the worse it makes Trump look. So instead, he wants to bring the conversation to Barack Obama, who at this time was recording podcasts about whatever book he was reading at the time, to talk about that instead of addressing the point. And he's still doing it right now.
Morally reprehensible.
Fast and Furious. Congress wanted Eric Holder to testify. He didn't show up. They found him in criminal contempt of Congress. 17 Democrats even voted in favor of criminal contempt for him, and no one's talking about that. But
when again, talk about Trump. Nobody's talking about that because that isn't happening right now.
So you're saying the Democrats were holding him accountable then?
But when Donald Trump says that I exert executive privilege, oh my God, he's stonewalling. All the stuff that Obama did, he went after reporters.
Well, you just admitted that the Democrats were holding Eric Holder
17
accountable.
did. That's all.
Okay.
What about the rest of them?
How many are holding Trump accountable for all of the awful things that he's done?
To wrap this up real point.
To wrap this up, Hasan is okay. So there's I will say that Hasan did the best that he probably could. Like, dude, you're doing whataboutism. You're not talking about the topic. If I was Hasan, the only difference I would be like saying is, dude, Larry Elder's acting cowardly right now. He won't talk about what Trump did because he's a partisan hack. He doesn't care. He's going to pivot to Obama. Watch, he's going to do it again. He's going to talk about Obama. He should have hit on it a little bit more. But, I mean, to be fair, like, Hasan did, like, the best he possibly could.
Things he's done.
To wrap this up real quickly, though, but he brings up
rocking and rolling.
If it was wrong when Obama did, is it wrong when Trump does it now? I mean, are they both wrong?
I'm talking about the fact that.
Why can't you say yes? That's really interesting, because I can say yes. Because Obama did awful things, but so is Trump, and Trump is doing even worse things. Why can't you admit that? Why can't conservatives ever admit when
There we go. Here it is. There we go. This is what I wanted him to do. It's not exactly how I would have phrased it, but it's what I wanted him to do.
Trump is doing.
You want to know what? Honestly, I've never seen a debate where Hasan came out looking okay. This is probably the closest I've seen to that.
There was a 2-year and 2-month investigation, $25 million spent to find collusion, conspiracy, coordination.
See, Larry Elder's pivoting. All Hasan has to say, I don't care about the investigation. I don't care. I do not care about the investigation. We're talking about what he said right now. Respond to that.
They didn't find anything,
once again,
and he punted on obstruction of justice. And
once again, you're talking to a straw man, because I already told you that that's not my personal perspective at all. If you want to have a conversation with a lot of open-minded leftists like myself, we are out there. We're on the internet. We talk about our personal.
Larry Elder is so frustrated. You can see him. Look at him shake his head. He's frustrated because he's not doing what he wants Hasan to do.
A lot of open-minded leftists.
He's not open-minded, to be fair. Hasan isn't open-minded, so it is fair that he shook his head. But you can see how fucking frustrated he is.
Like myself, we are out there. We're on the internet. We talk about our personal perspective.
If you were open-minded, you wouldn't be saying, "Oh, I don't want to hear about whataboutism. I don't want to hear about what Obama did. I don't want to hear about what Hillary did."
Because two wrongs don't make a right.
Because it makes you look like you're a phony and hypocrite.
I criticize Barack.
See, Larry Elder's now going harder on Hasan. He's going to see you're a phony and a hypocrite. Hasan has done nothing but acted chill the entire time. He's done nothing but, dude, does two wrongs make a right? If anything, Hasan is being too nice to Larry. He's granting Larry too much by saying two wrongs don't make it a right. Because he's accepting the fact that everything Obama did was a mistake. That every single thing that Larry Elder just said earlier, which 90% of it was bullshit, if you wanted my opinion. He's just accepting it all on face value that it's wrong. And he say, but two wrongs don't make a right, so let's talk about Trump. And Larry Elder won't accept that.
Obama throughout his entire presidency, and I criticize Hillary Clinton as well. I am not a hypocrite.
We're gonna
afraid.
We're gonna talk about another.
There you go. That's what I wanted. The coward line. There we go.
Another issue now,
Medicare for all? Are you
is
kidding me?
which is the
Now look at him pivoting back. Medicare for all. Jesus.
You're a libertarian?
which is
You want government to control medicine?
Let's talk
Hell
about
yeah.
another issue, which is
That's insane.
Which is the issue of the Democratic primary. Now, this week,
Like, why is Larry Elder so surprised to find that the socialist wants Medicare for all? Why is he so surprised? Or like, he's not actually surprised. It's fake surprise to like act horrid for the audience, of course.
we found out who are the 20 candidates that are going to be making it up onto the debate stage. This is a list of all 20 of them. By the way, all of them that have come on the issue
Mike Gravel should have been up there.
are on the debate stage. So just candidates, good idea to come on the show. Sadly, for the candidates that are goose eggs, Steve Bullock, Mike Gravel,
Damn
Wayne
it.
Nessum, and Seth Moulton, none of
Sore
them
spot.
met the criteria. I know many of our viewers are crying over
They,
that.
they will be missed.
Mike Gravel is an entertaining guy.
Where do you?
Hell yeah, Hasan. I appreciate that. Thank you, Hasan.
I mean, where do you guys see the state of the race? Because I think you both might agree on something. Neither of you like Joe Biden.
Well, I'm not a fan of any of them.
Yeah.
Me either, except for Bernie. Maybe
Do you like Elizabeth Warren?
Maybe I'll vote for Elizabeth Warren, but it's definitely the second best.
So if Joe
option.
Biden got the nomination and is running against President Trump, you would not vote for him?
I don't know. I've honestly considered moving up into the mountains and living an anarcho-primitivist lifestyle if Joe Biden becomes the Democratic nominee. I think Trump has.
Wow. I didn't know anarcho-primitivism included $3 million homes in the Hollywood Hills. That's a crazy anarcho-primitivist lifestyle, man. I did not know anarcho-primitivism came with fucking marble and pools, man. That's wild. Man, that's a pretty moderate anarcho-primitivism if I've ever seen it.
Has a chance of defeating Joe Biden. But worse than that, even if Joe Biden wins, I think we go back to business as usual politics here in America. And next time around, it's not going to be Donald Trump. It's actually going to be an ideologically minded fascist, not a proto-fascist who kind of succeed.
I will say, of course, Hasan's wrong. Like, you vote for the Democrat. Like, and I mean, this is like I know people don't like me when I say this, but when it comes down to it, you fight as hard as you can in the primary. You fight as hard. You build your political pact. You build your organizations. You build your grassroots orgs. You do everything you can. When it comes to the general, we all know that the Republican is going to be much worse for the Democrat than the Democrat when it comes to the primary. I mean, when it comes to the general. Therefore, you got to use your political capital and your vote to the best of its effectiveness and vote for the least bad option or the best option available. And there was only two options in the 2020 general election. Joe Biden obviously being the better one. If anything, if I wanted to appeal like somebody to Hasan in this instance, Afghanistan would be a good example of that. Even though I have extreme criticisms of how he's managed to withdraw, I still think he did it better than Trump has. And Trump was more willing to listen to people like McMaster during the early part of his presidency, where Biden has been consistent on wanting to get out of the country or draw down out of the country for forever. If we go back to 2009, which we're going to talk about this later, in 2009, Barack Obama gets in the office. And I know we got a neocon in chat who's going to remember what I'm talking about right here. And the generals walk up to Barack Obama. They knock on his door, and he's like, hey, dude, we need to do a surge, 30,000 troops. And Biden, he's getting boxed in by the generals. Obama is. Biden walks up to him, grabs him by the arm, and he says, listen, these guys are trying to box you in. Don't let them jerk you around. They do this to every president. Do the right thing. 3 months later, Obama sends 30,000 troops to Afghanistan, does a troop surge, lasts a little bit, stops it. Didn't really get much out of it. Of course, people would disagree exactly why the troop surge didn't work. Some would say it was never going to work. Others would say it was because it was not a consistent policy. But my point is that Biden's been consistent on seeing Afghanistan as a quagmire, which would be aligned with Hasan's views. And Biden has always held this view during the Obama administration, during the Trump administration, and during today, even though he wasn't part of the Trump administration. So for someone like Hasan, if you really just did your research beforehand, I don't know if he has or not on this. This isn't a criticism, but if you looked at Biden's record to Afghanistan before this point, you would know he was going to do a withdrawal. If you look at internal statements that he's made, statements he's made to staff, public statements about the war, if you just look at it, let's be fair, he's always looked like a president who was going to do a withdrawal. If there's, can I be honest? Out of all of the people during the primary, the Democratic primary, there's only 2 that I would have trusted to actually go through with getting us out of Afghanistan. And the only 2 are Bernie Sanders and Biden. I wouldn't have trusted Warren. I wouldn't have trusted Pete. I wouldn't have trusted Amy Klobuchar. I wouldn't have trusted any of them. Those are the only 2 people, except if you wanted to include Mike Gravel, but I'm not going to include Mike for obvious reasons. Those are the only 2 I think that would have gone through with it, because they're the only 2 that's been consistent on this.
Somehow and fooled Americans for long enough to get into a position of power, but an actual terrifying leader.
Oh my goodness. There was just a poll in Gallup, and they looked at Donald Trump ideologically. 17% believed that he was too conservative. 18% thought George W. Bush was too conservative. 38% think that Donald Trump's views are just right. 36% thought George W.'s views were just right. 39% thought both of them were too conservative. So the people perceive Donald Trump and George W. Bush to be almost mirror images.
Okay, can I just say, appealing to polls on whether somebody is a fascist is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Hey Dylan, let's figure out if you're conservative. Well, apparently, if you poll like lefty Discord group, 40% think you're conservative. So I guess you're conservative now. Why would you appeal to a poll to prove somebody's not or isn't a fascist? And plus, Hasan didn't even make the claim here that he was a fascist. He's just saying that he's paving the way for fascists. So he's not even responding to the point. He has this dialogue tree that he's trying to run down.
Images ideologically. But I hear all this stuff about Donald Trump has changed the Republican Party, turned it into a party of cult. It's not true. People perceive them to be ideologically identical.
Okay, so it has become a party of cult. It legitimately has. The greatest example of this would be the fact that nobody can accept the fact that Donald Trump lost the election. They think that it was rigged. And Larry, you can say that that isn't cult-like, but even you had to admit when being interviewed that Donald Trump did lose the election and that the Republicans need to move on. So Larry, even you would have to admit that it was cult-like. Even you would have to admit that the people who believe that he did not lose the election, even though all the evidence clearly points to him losing, those people are following a cult. And you want to know what? The majority of Republicans believe he didn't lose the election. The majority. Democracy doesn't work if one of the major parties cannot accept defeat. It doesn't work.
I agree with you on that. I 100% agree with you. I think Donald
And here's another example. In 2015, Trump's on the stage with Ben Carson, someone who's worked in the medical field for decades, and pushes the idea that vaccines cause autism. What are we dealing with 6 years later? He planted the seeds.
We talked about this outside.
Now, here's another thing. These contradictory views. People will applaud the fact that Donald Trump was able to get the vaccine out so fast, but then in the next sentence say they're not going to get the vaccine and then inject ivermectin. Dude, that's cult behavior. I'm sorry.
Donald Trump is a perfectly sound Republican, but also George W. Bush was a war criminal. So I don't like George W. Bush either.
All right, let's take a break.
Criminal.
Let's take a break. Let's let everybody cool down a little
people,
bit.
remember?
Up next, we're going to talk about another
bad.
issue that brings people.
It's kind of bad. Oh, I love that interaction. Look at him. He's having so much fun.
W. Bush either.
All right, let's take a break.
Criminal.
Let's take a break. Let's let everybody cool down a
tortured
little
people,
bit.
remember?
Up next, we're going to talk
He's having
about
a blast.
another issue that brings people.
I will say that I do wish that when people threw the war crime accusations around, that they did actually list which one it was. So I am happy that he did at least follow up with, he tortured people. This is weird music to have on this type of a talk show. Anyway, I just dug up this gem. I thought it was interesting. Hasan actually did pretty decent here. I think he could have done better. I just wish he was a little bit more aggressive and stopped Larry, because Larry was like going on his dialogue trees, like stopped him in his tracks, interrupted the tree, cut it down. But besides that, this is probably the best performance I've seen from Hasan generally. I think also his cool, calm, and collected look did help him, but he does generally just need to be more aggressive. But he doesn't debate for a reason. He acknowledges this is not really his strong suit. Anyway, it's really interesting that one of the people here might actually be governor because of the recall. Who knew?